World Breastfeeding Week is an annual celebration which is held every year from the 1st to the 7th of August in more than 120 countries. According to the 26 August data of World Breastfeeding Week website, there's been a lot of events countrywide and of course globally, and we've seen a lot of podcasts and programs dedicated to this conversation. Yeah, we're not shy. We're going to be talking about breastfeeding, and I've got experts on this conversation. They're very passionate about this, and it's all about Breastfeeding Week. Before we wrap up the week, it's important we have these amazing ladies on Newsmakers, the CEO Hannah Murage and Chief Operating Officer Karen Mrema, Lactacare Kenya. These two ladies are doing God's work indeed. I love it. Welcome to the show, ladies. That Whitney Houston song was for you. Welcome to the Spice Drive. Thank you for making time. It gets really busy on the way here, and for you to make time this afternoon to join us, we appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure.
So where did this journey begin? Lactacare Kenya is a niche company that focuses on interesting products, and some of the guys and some ladies may not understand where this is from and where it started. Tell us about the journey.
All right. So I had a baby in 2017, and I had enough milk until she started demanding for more.
Yeah.
And I tried to pump, and I wasn't getting enough. So I did some background reading and found out that there's some herbs that can be used to boost breast milk.
Yeah.
And so my background is molecular biology.
Nice.
And I thought, okay, I can try this. I was not the best baker. So I opted to tag Karen in to help her god
Wow.
baby, because she's my child's godmother, to have some more milk through making the cookies.
Right.
Because they tasted like grass when I tried to make them myself.
I tasted them.
What?
That's so true. So she came to me and I was like, you know what? I always loved baking. I mean, I just liked being in the kitchen doing random things. So I'm like, okay, let me try. And she had given me the recipe. She was like, okay, try this. So I tweaked a few things and they came out. They came out better. Way better.
Wow.
Way better.
With
Definitely.
the same ingredients, but there's a way you put your magic.
Yes.
Well, in the end, we kind of treated our ingredients to have them give the best quality of boosted milk. Yes.
Wow. So Lactacare Kenya, of course, started off as a necessity. You got together as friends, collaborated, and decided to also think about other women. Let's break it down for the people who are interacting with your product for the very first time. Who is your client?
Well, our main client are breastfeeding mothers, because we don't recommend that pregnant mothers begin our products. I mean, when they're still pregnant, because some of the ingredients can have an effect on the cervix. They can it can cause early labor. So as soon as baby is born, you can begin our products.
Yeah.
And for as long as you need to boost your milk.
Yeah.
If it's 2 years, if it's just 3 months, if it's 6 months.
However long you
So long
need,
as you're
you can get,
Yes.
you can get the right nutrition.
But also, it's also good for the whole family. So you don't necessarily have to be nursing.
Yes.
Because, we have husbands, we have brothers who also take our products. And
Wow, that's
Children.
interesting.
we don't buy bread, so whatever the spoils of the bakery.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting because when I got my first package from Lactacare Kenya, my daughter Zara Chemutai is turning 3 next month, and that was my first time using your product. And let me tell you, I had what they call showers of blessings. I had an overflow. I had everything that I needed, but I didn't share with my husband because I assumed that it was only for me. It's only for a nursing mom. And I enjoyed all that, and I never lacked milk. There's a lot of young mothers who do not know that they can get the right diet or the right supplements to ensure that they have the milk flow. There's a lot of shaming also around women that do not breastfeed. This particular week is about empowering women and supporting women to breastfeed. What is your interaction with young mothers when it comes to the breastfeeding conversation?
So what I should also say is Lactacare is a hub of lactation nutrition, support and information for breastfeeding women. So it doesn't mean that you have to buy our products for us to help you. So we are actively helping mothers know what to eat, when to pump, what to do. So all the tricks that we have used in our own breastfeeding journeys, we disseminate the information to the other women out there.
Very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of women. You're like, you know what? I'm not necessarily able to buy your products, but I was told that you support, you provide support. Do you have time to for me to just pick your brain, ask you a few questions? I just want advice. I don't know who to talk to. So we are that kind of hub. I mean, you don't just buy a product and we just leave you.
Right.
We provide the support. We work with you. Yeah.
Very nice. I mean, there's a lot of people who think I'm only going to get this kind of advice from my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, and not everyone has that circle close to them.
Yeah.
That was my case. And then I got this beautiful package at my doorstep. Thank you guys, by the way. That was just a beautiful memory. I'm thinking about this right now and I'm thinking I did not struggle with my flow. There's a lot of questions around the women that do not have the freedom to breastfeed and still be career women and do the things that they love. Can we get into that and also how this has been put on the spotlight this particular week?
All right, so we did a question to ask women in our community if they have the space to actually pump or even breastfeed.
In the place.
And a lot of them came back with information that even if the room is available, it doesn't have the amenities. So it can just be an empty room, but you need a wash basin, you need a fridge, you need, comfortable chairs. So it's currently the conversation that's happening in most of the workplaces. And thank you for the Kenyan government. They are having the conversation about the breastfeeding bill.
Yes.
So we foresee that it's going to be a big thing to have lactation pods or rooms that will cater for all the breastfeeding moms, because you don't necessarily want to pump milk and then put it in a fridge that is shared with the rest of the office community.
Right.
So you want one that is dedicated for the breastfeeding moms.
And also it falls in line with the theme, the World Breastfeeding Week theme, protect breastfeeding a shared responsibility. Because we have a lot of moms who tell us you have to choose whether you want to work or you want to breastfeed. Like they have no time. They're not even given the time to take that hour off. I'm like, okay, fine, I have an hour. Do I eat? Do I run home and breastfeed?
Right.
Like it's
Do I make money for the family?
Even just to
Exactly.
negotiate
Yeah.
for that
Yes.
break time. I get you. And I think there's just, a narrow conversation about maternity leave, and then right after that, what happens? And you are talking about walking with nursing moms, even if, you need that support 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, things change. You could even have, your first child, you didn't get that support. Your second child, you get that support. But you guys are offering all that and all that information. Based on your findings and the women that you interacted with and interviewed, do you think they feel discouraged about breastfeeding and having to choose the, work-life balance and, that mom guilt of, if I work and I'm not able to do this, and what about, not proving myself when I get back to work, walking into a boardroom with a bleeding blouse, because, you're just all over the place. It's hard enough just getting back to work, and it's a very different conversation. But do you feel that the breastfeeding moms are getting the support they need?
To be honest, there's definitely a concern that more support is needed. But the fortunate and unfortunate with the pandemic, a lot of moms are now working from home. So you'll find a lot of moms are like, you know what, at least I'm getting this time with my child. At least I'm able to breastfeed longer than I would have if I had to go to work, back to work. But you'll still find a lot of them are like, hey, I'm in a man's world.
Yeah.
Like I have to decide it's time to pump or I'm called in for a meeting. There's no, it's quite unfortunate. And I hope that with the bill that's coming up, all this will be taken into consideration, that breastfeeding needs to really be taken seriously as a public health issue. It's a concern for everybody.
And not just the breastfeeding women. I think as a community, we need to be inclusive of the breastfeeding moms, because we have a lot of communities coming to tell us that, the mommy community telling us that they don't have time off. So if you have a lunch break, it's like a 15-minute lunch break. So we ask them, so tell us your day so that we can kind of factor in where you can pump. So there's one we've told her to pump in her car because there's no room.
And it's happening,
We have moms, we're telling them, oh, there's this pump, you can plug it into the car and pump on your way to work. Or we come up with a schedule for you because you don't necessarily have any space in between your work day to pump. And you've got to give that milk back home because you don't want to also buy formula because it's really expensive.
It's true.
Exactly. And then you have the allergies that come up with substituting.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we pass the message home that it's so important to breastfeed.
We're going to be
Especially
having more questions coming in, and the conversation on World Breastfeeding Week. I'm learning a lot myself. When you're thinking you're alone, and then you realize, wow, if I'm going to get back in the game, I'm going to need all the support I can get.
That's true.
There's women pumping in the car, women pumping under the stairs,
in the toilet.
It's not sanitary. There's so many things that we can do better, and you are guiding mothers every step of the way. I am so glad that you're here in the studio. I'm hanging out with Hannah Murage and Karen Mrema from Lactacare Kenya. I have seen a question on my Instagram, and it was quite deep for me because I'm not in that business. That's where you guys come in. And it's all about not being able to breastfeed, and you've tried everything. And the pressure comes from family members, right? The moms, the aunties, or even your sisters who have that flow and you don't have that flow. Have you heard of clients experiencing that kind of shaming? And because they do not have the knowledge to know that they can change their diet, they can get the information that they need, they struggle with it. And then comes the cost of formula and other things. And also questions of how healthy the baby is because you are not breastfeeding, you're not a good mom. All these things tie into that first year, the first 2 years of a child, and the kind of mother that you are. Have you experienced this kind of conversation with your clients?
So it's an everyday conversation, to be honest. So many moms are facing the shame and the guilt. You've got the older generation believe that breastfeeding should be a certain way, and then you've got the generation that is breastfeeding and they want to do it differently.
Yeah.
So you've got clashing opinions, and you've got moms who believe that the grandmothers believe that if you're spraying the milk, then you have enough milk. It doesn't necessarily mean that. You don't need to be looking to have enough milk. There are other parameters to look at to see if your child is well fed. If you're changing enough diapers, your child is well fed. And if you don't have enough milk, I always say a fed baby is okay. It's okay to substitute with formula. Yes.
And that's okay. So this week it's encouraging breastfeeding and also knowing that you can breastfeed wherever you are, and it is your right, and you can do that. Take us through this year's theme.
As I said earlier, the theme for this year's World Breastfeeding Week is protect breastfeeding, a shared responsibility. So what Lactacare is trying to do is we're trying to basically just normalize breastfeeding, galvanize action that breastfeeding is your right wherever you are. Because we have a lot of women, they'll go somewhere and they'll be like, I was in a restaurant, I was told to cover.
I remember there was a story like that one time.
And there have been so many stories like that, actually. And it's actually unfortunate because I always keep saying, it takes a village, you need a village. And a lot of women don't have that village. And you'll find a lot of them would come to Lactacare and say, look, I have nobody. Like, just help, just talk to me. Like 10, 11 p.m., you find somebody's calling you, 5 missed calls, you're like, okay, fine, let me just pick up. They just need a village. Yeah.
So the company Lactacare Kenya caters to nursing moms, and the guys are happy to note that you can also indulge in these treats. I know you can see this on our screen, spicefm.co.ke. We have all these baked treats and goodies and some of the supplements that you can use. Very healthy, 100% organic. And you're saying this is freshly baked today.
Yes.
You have a chef that gets this done. You are a baker as well, and there's people who may be curious about the recipes that you're using. What do we have here today?
Well, we have 3 main products currently. We have lactation muffins, lactation cookies, and lactation tea. So they contain ingredients, a group of ingredients called galactagogues that help to boost breast milk. So you're talking oats, you're talking dill seeds, you're talking fennel seeds, you're talking brewer's yeast.
Nice and healthy.
Flax
Seeds, yeah. So again, our target is nursing mothers.
Yeah.
But you have some. I mean, it's healthy for the whole family. You have kids can take it, men can take it. Just breastfeeding mothers, we ask. Pregnant mothers. We ask you not to.
So you can carry a tin of the lactation tea in your hospital bag and start it once you've been cleared to have your meals after delivery.
Very nice. So you amazing women made a business out of a hobby.
It actually started as a hobby,
And now here you are supporting women, giving them nutritional information and supporting them on that journey. Your parents as well. Congratulations to you. You're a new mom.
Yes.
And what I love with the feedback that I see on your Instagram is how even you quickly respond to the questions that people have. You run the pages yourselves?
Yes.
Very nice. Yes. So today we're going to be giving away something. I've seen the onesie that I cannot have right now, but it's the cutest thing you can ever see. But we're going to be giving away a hamper.
Yes.
And we've got a very simple question. I'm going to let you ask.
All right. So you can tell us what the theme of the breastfeeding week is.
And then you can get yourself this hamper right about now. The hashtag is SpiceDrive, SpiceFMKE. And of course, you can get to find all the products that you need. I'm telling you, a lot of the reservations come from the information you got growing up.
Yes.
You know, and in our culture, we don't do this. You know, we shouldn't do this. Why is it that you don't have milk? And it's not automatic. You can still get to breastfeed your child. Meet that target of 6 months if you can. And if you don't, no pressure. There's still support and guidance, whatever your situation is. We are not the same as women, and we need to say that all the time.
Yes.
And I have 2 kids, and both experiences were very different. I breastfed one more than the other. But it was a very different experience for both children, and I'm the same person. So also that pressure we need to take away from moms. Yes, we encourage this, but also if you feel that you are not meeting your target or not doing things the way you ought to do them, seek help and support. You've been featured in many articles, especially here in the country. In the region, you are probably the first to start this business, I believe.
No. We were the first, I think one of the first to have the lactation tea.
The lactation
and the
tea.
muffins. There was already somebody supplying the lactation cookies. But our niche is different is because we customize for each mom. So if you have lactose issues, if you'd like reduced sugar, if you'd like us to remove an ingredient,
gluten-free,
because we do same day baking and then delivery if you're within Nairobi. But we also do out of Nairobi. We do Uganda, we go to Tanzania. We've delivered as far as the United States.
Canada as well.
Yes.
Nice. Very nice. And all this is organic. The ingredients have nutritional value.
No preservatives.
No preservatives. Get it, put it in your fridge immediately. If you get this hamper, pick it up, put it in your fridge and enjoy. If Baba or whoever wants to enjoy as well, make him a cup of tea. Let them enjoy it. And of course, as research continues on how, you can boost your milk supply. We continue to have these healthy conversations and to put them on radio, put them on TV, put them on platforms so that it's not taboo. If you have any questions around breastfeeding, if you are on that breastfeeding journey, if you're about to embark on that journey, do follow on social media. Very quickly, your platforms.
Instagram at Lactacare Kenya and Facebook Lactacare Kenya.
Very nice. Yes. I am almost kind of feeling like I need to be getting in touch.
Will it in?
Let me just soak in all this information and the fact that I know you are reachable and accessible and right here in Kenya, in Nairobi. So once again, you have lactation tea,
lactation cookies,
yes,
and muffins.
and muffins.
We've also got a breastfeeding guide that
Yes.
kind of tells the mom what to eat, when to eat. So it's a timetable that has everything. So when you give birth, you're confused. You don't know what to do. So it kind of helps you have a schedule in how you run your day. Yes.
We actually had to get that because when I delivered last year,
yeah.
as much as I had done Lactacare, it's amazing when you're put on the spot. I was very confused. Let me not lie. I knew what to do.
Right.
But she
I
didn't
just
know
couldn't
when
do.
to,
Yeah.
I hear you.
So yeah, Hannah came in, sat with my nanny, and like, look, at this time, give her this. At this time, give her this. If she's sleeping, wake her up.
Yeah.
And 18 and a half months later, I'm still breastfeeding.
And she donated 40
I donated
liters.
almost 40 liters of milk to a children's.
Wow.
Yes, and
so
I
you
still
can
have
do,
some.
You can do that.
You can. You just
Some
need-
people don't even know that you can do that. You're donating and pumping and
Yes.
Yes.
and you look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
So people can even donate milk just to support nursing mothers with whatever challenges that they may have.
Or
Or to a
children.
children's home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this happens in Kenya.
Yes.
Yes.
That's some great information. And very easily you can win yourself this hamper. And the question is very, very simple. What is the theme this year of the World Breastfeeding Week? Any advice for a breastfeeding mom? She's probably tuned in, listening to hip hop and just thinking, wow, somebody can see me right now. Any advice for a breastfeeding mom as we observe World Breastfeeding Week?
For me, I would say you need a village. You need people around you who support you. And honestly, the best advice I can give any breastfeeding mother that I was given is pump. Pump your milk. Pump your milk.
Used to fight about
Yes.
that.
More demand, more supply.
Very
Yes.
well
But
said.
seek support.
Yes.
Yes.
What about you?
Well, I would say your child's needs, it's only you who knows what your child needs. So don't listen to the naysayers. Don't close it out. You know what your child needs best. So if you feel like you need help, if you feel like you need to do something more, speak about it, engage people. There's a lot of people out there who are willing to walk with you, to hold your hand. So don't be scared to ask for support at all.
And
But you're
there
doing a great job.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no
Yes.
shame in breastfeeding.
Nah.
Young girls breastfeed that baby.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. And there's a connection with the baby that, I can't even describe. So go right ahead and enjoy that season. You'll miss it. By the way,
yes.
I miss that, but yeah.
I think I almost cried when
when
was
it
the
ended,
end. Yes.
when it was over. But yeah, there's a chance for you to win right here on the Spice Drive, and so many questions, and even the guys can hit us up, surprise your lady, and hook her up with a Lactacare hamper. And the question is, what is the theme this year? Thank you very much, Hannah Murage and Karen Mrema. You guys are fabulous. And I hope we get to see you again. I hope we get to see you soon so that we can have more of these conversations and just to educate and inform because that help is there. It is available. So thank you so much for joining us here on the Spice Drive. As the lady said, just keep pumping.